Des Moines, and all of Central Iowa, welcome to Mac's World Live. Mac's World is your world. Every day we talk about the issues and topics that matter most to you. And as always, it's your voice we want to hear in Mac's World. So join the conversation by calling 515-244-0077. And now, here's the host of Mac's World Live, J. Michael McCoy.
Good afternoon, 6 minutes after the hour on the 6th day of April in the Lord's year 2016. I'm J. Michael McCoy. Welcome to the afternoon edition of Mac's World Live here on 99.3. This radio station is called The Truth. What? You're having a deja vu? You've heard this voice before on talk radio? And you think your mind is in a time warp like Michael J. Fox and you're going back to the future? No. Go ahead, pinch yourself, but not too hard. It's me, Mac. Yes, this is Mac's World. I don't have Bradshaw with me today, although he does come around sometimes. This is a brand new radio station that premiered in Des Moines about a year ago. We're at 99.3, and this radio station is The Truth. That's what it's called, The Truth. Why? Because we tell you the truth. We have biblically accurate teachers and preachers. We have conservative talk show hosts. We have some of the best local and surrounding area local preachers and teachers. And we're on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I thank you for listening. Now, remember what I used to say. When I owned restaurants, I appreciated it when somebody told me my cheeseburgers were good. But I needed people to tell me when they're not so good. And I depend on you for that. You can probably even be rude and coarse with me, and I will accept it. Because I understand there's a price for what? The truth. Just like it's always been in my life, you are the star of the show. The guest is the star of the show. I'm simply here facilitating, hosting a talk radio show. And your voice is what I want to hear. 515-244-0077. That's 515-244-0077. We also have the Service Legends Truth text line at 515-809-0993. Just like the big stations. You can text from your smartphone in, and Bob Montserrat, the cat in the hat, watching the chat and the text, will tell me what you're thinking. I also have my Facebook on during the show, and I do check it. So if you've got something you want to say there, your voice is welcome there. Rick Box has a company called Integrity Resource Center. You can look it up, integrityresource.org. He's from Kansas City. Kansas City, here I come. Kansas City, here I... Yeah, I know, you don't pay me to sing. He's going to be our guest later on this half hour and into the 4 o'clock hour. And we're going to talk to you about 10 biblical principles for business. That's right. See, you think it's against the law for you to be biblically amplified in your business. Because some heathen, some atheist, some non-believer, some antichrist said, oh, you can't do that in your business. That's against the law. I'll sue you. And as Christians, we don't really like controversy, or some people don't, and so we back off. We say, well, we'll just preach the gospel in our actions. We'll just treat people well. You're going to be real surprised to find out 10 biblical principles for business. Things that you can do in your business that can not only help your business survive and thrive, it'll also be an excellent excellent place for employees. Your place. I don't care if you have you and one other, or you and 10 other, or you and 599 other. My wife's company has 600 employees. Can you imagine that?
That's a lot.
At one time.
I would not like to be responsible for 600 employees.
I remember one time we were sitting in the accountant's office, and it was W-2 time, when you hand out the W-2s.
Yep.
And my business partner and I, the guy said, "That's your box over there. Take those to your employees." And I said, "What are they?" "Those are your W-2s." And it's this huge box. So you got to be kidding me. How many employees did we have last year? 737. It was that moment and that day that my business partner and I decided we're going to start backing out of business. It took us 4 years. 700. Can you imagine that? But if I had run that company with Jesus by my side then as I had today, who knows? Who knows the souls that we could have brought to salvation through Jesus? Maybe my businesses would have been blessed in a greater amplification by God. Who knows? So next hour, next hour, Rick Box will be here. And we're going to talk about 10 biblical principles for business. And we're looking forward to that. All right, Chris, how are you?
I'm doing well, sir. I'm doing well. We had a very nice lunch today.
We did.
Today was the first Wednesday in the month of April, which means it was Testify. We have lunch every first Wednesday of the month at the Pizza Ranch on 86th in Johnston. Technically in Urbandale, just south of Johnston there. And it was a really good lunch. And Rick Box was our speaker, and it was really cool because he gave his testimony. And I'll tell you, I've been familiar with Rick Box for a long time, familiar with Integrity Resource Center, and hearing his personal testimony of how he became the guy he is now was just amazing. I sat next to Joel Smith, the owner of the Papa Murphy's franchises here in Des Moines, and he and I both simultaneously gasped. I don't know if you heard us in the middle of his story, because part of his story included him basically being stranded out in the middle of the ocean after he was boogie boarding. And as he was describing this, Rick was an absolutely great storyteller. And it was funny. Joel and I both went at the same time, sitting there listening to Rick. So I'm excited to have him on the broadcast coming up here pretty soon. But it was a good lunch. The next Testify is the 4th of May. May 4th. That's the first Wednesday of the month. Look, if you didn't come this time...
And our own Dave Burrier is going to give his testimony. David
Burrier, who often hears the testimony of other people on his radio program, I've Been There, that you can listen to every Saturday at 10 a.m. on 99.3 FM. We're actually going to be able to hear David Burrier's testimony, and I've heard parts of it, and no doubt I haven't heard all of it. So that'll be really good. That's May 4th. We have lunch at noon. Get there a little bit before fellowship. We eat from noon to 1, and we're gone by 1, aren't we? Don't we usually wrap up about 1?
I always wrap up by 1.
Yeah, if you've got to go at 1, you're welcome to leave. Some people hang out and do some more fellowship afterwards, but it's an absolute blast, and every single one of you is invited.
Yeah, we've also got an event coming up with Rick Box and his group later on in May, I think.
That's right. We're very excited about that. That is Faith at Work. You kind of addressed this a little bit, Mac, when you were talking about the legal aspect of it. Is it as a Christian, as a owner of a company, is it legal for you to be a Christian and be vocal about your faith as a business owner? Is it legal? That's the question they're going to discuss on May 12th. You can find out more information about this if you go to faithatworkiowa.org. May 12th is a Thursday, and the speaker for that event is actually going to be Kelly Shackelford. And Kelly Shackelford is the president and CEO of First Liberty Institute. They are the largest nonprofit legal firm dedicated exclusively to protecting religious freedom. And you've interviewed Kelly Shackelford, if you remember that, when we were at the Freedom Conference. Was that the summer? Do you remember when that was?
Yeah.
Yeah, you interviewed Kelly. He was in our booth when we did that live broadcast. You interviewed like 15 people that day, so I don't know if you remember all of them. But when you see him, you'll remember him for sure. Smart cookie. Looking forward to that. So we'd love to see you out there. You can go to faithatworkiowa.org. We'll have a table, and there'll be more information about that.
And I hope we're going to give away 2 seats at that table.
Yes.
To our listeners to come along with us.
Absolutely.
All right, so I've got a couple news stories that got me excited today. And by the way, guess what? I have a gift. Well, he's not listening. But I have a gift for a brother in Christ of mine who bears with this program when we talk about politics. And today I have a gift for him.
All right.
I'm not going to talk about Wisconsin. I don't care.
Oh, come on. Over 50% to Ted Cruz, that's not a big deal?
Yeah, that is a big deal. That's great. But
that's enough to talk about.
I'm just tired of it. I'm just tired of it.
Yeah.
I'm just exhausted. And anyway, so, Bob, you won't miss that, will you?
Miss what?
If we don't talk about politics today?
No, I don't miss that.
Okay, do you have a text?
I do. I have a text.
From the
Service Legends Truth
line. 809-0993.
How many women show up for Testify?
That's a good question. We had 1, 2, 3, 4,
5. 5 out of 13.
5 out of 13.
So it's a 50-50 deal.
Yep.
It's absolutely not a men's deal.
And there were several ladies that were not there that regularly come.
That were not there. Yeah, right. Yeah.
So it's
always kind of a new group.
Yeah.
You know? Tim Oberlin wasn't there yet. Where was he at? He's mad at me.
No, he's not. He's
mad at me.
He's got another thing. He told me that he
cheated
was
on me with another thing.
He's committed to another lunch event.
Okay.
He'll be done soon, though.
All right, speed cameras. You thought you were getting rid of them, right? Nope. They're coming back. Also, a bill cracking down on the invasion of privacy. It was approved 50-0. And you remember Tiffany Allison, who was here a few weeks ago to talk about the domestic abuse bill?
Yes.
That flew through the House 55-0 today. So that passed. Those stories more in Rick Box later right here on The Truth. TRUTH with MAC.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
Hey everybody, I brought Northern Lights Pizza! And it's got Graziano sausage!
Rockton Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for their opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens. Rock on. This is Pat McManus for Rock and Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast 1 Live.
21 minutes after 3 o'clock, 3:21. Okay, there we go. 321, 6th day of April. You can talk to us several different ways. You can listen to us many different ways. You can watch us and participate many different ways. The Truth text line from Service Legends is 515-809-0993. Bob just read one a minute ago. The text from somebody was how many females were at Testify today, and we counted, what did we count, 5?
5 out of 13.
5 out of 13. Testify isn't a highly attended group, and it's not designed to be. It's in a room that we probably could have only had 20 people in.
Right.
It's supposed to be intimate. Someone sharing their life story, how Jesus mugged them, how Jesus came into their life and changed everything, and the story and the backstory behind it and after it. That's not supposed to be in Stevens Auditorium. So you're always welcome to come, and it's free. I mean, if you want to eat, you got to pay, for the food. That's what we do. We should offer free food and watch how many people we get. We couldn't. We'd be full. All right. 4 big news stories I want to talk about with you. Number one, if you think speed cameras were a thing of the past, more people are living and working in downtown Des Moines, and the Des Moines Police Department is trying to make it safer to get around. Oh, listen to this. Speed cameras make things safer. It's for the children. I hate that. The department plans to activate the Speed on Green feature on the red light camera intersection at 9th and Grand. If people are speeding through a green light at that intersection, they will be ticketed. Last year, that intersection was ranked 3rd most dangerous intersection in Des Moines with 18 collisions. Des Moines police said that between a 7-month period, over 1.6 million cars traveled southbound through the 9th and Grand Avenue intersection. Of those, 25,000 exceeded the posted speed limit of 25 miles an hour by a minimum of 11 miles an hour or more. The enforcement begins April 18th. Let me read that whole story. And when I point at you, Chris, I want you to make this sound. Ching, ching. Practice.
Ching, ching.
Okay. As more people live and work downtown, the Des Moines Police Department is trying to make it safer to get around.
Ching, ching.
And you know what that means? That means they want money. The department plans to activate Speed on Green features, red light camera intersection at 9th and Grand, because people continue to speed through the green light intersection.
Ching, ching.
If they do it anymore, they'll be ticketed.
Ching, ching. Ching, ching. Ching, ching.
Last year, the intersection was ranked the 3rd most dangerous intersection in terms of the number of accidents in Des Moines, with 18 collisions. 1.6 million cars travel through that intersection, and 25,000 of them go at least 11 miles an hour or more over the speed limit.
Ching, ching. Ching, ching. Ching, ching.
Every one of those people would probably pay, I'm guessing, about a $70 ticket, $70, $80 ticket with the court costs. So let's just say it's $100, and you got 25,000. So you add 0. That's $2.5 million.
Ching, 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 ching.
To the city of Des Moines.
Well, what about the auto body repair shops? I mean, they're going to take a hit, aren't they?
That's right. See, the city is destroying the auto body repair shop.
You got to look at all angles.
Destroying the economy. Big government taking money. Ching.
And then when they have all those accidents, look at the insurance rates that they're going to be paying more for the public.
And we're an insurance-based community.
Yep. Cha-ching. Cha-ching.
I'm just telling you, people, don't be a low information voter. All right? With Jesus in your heart, don't get soft. Jesus did not come to make you a wussy. Okay? Don't be soft. This is about
cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
The Benjamins. It's not about being safer. It's not about anything other than
cha-ching.
The Benjamins.
So you're saying that if Jesus was driving today, if he was on Earth, he wouldn't be speeding over the limit?
I don't think so. Oh. I have no idea. Did he break any laws when he was here? He broke a lot of laws. I guess if you ask the Pharisees, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Jesus would probably Jesus would probably add
cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
Tons of Benjamins to the account, because he'd say, Forget the law.
No, I don't know about that.
All right.
That might be a little not totally accurate there.
Now, a little related here.
Off the base.
A bill cracking down on invasion of private...
Just slightly.
Are you just going to keep talking
just a little
while
bit.
I try to do this?
Just a little bit off the base.
You going to pay me back the other day for what I did to you?
Just a little bit off.
The bill cracking down on invasion of privacy issues was approved 50-0 by the Iowa Senate Wednesday. Sounds like a Iowa Hawkeyes football game. 0-50. Iowa Senate Wednesday and was sent to Governor Terry Branstad, who is expected to sign it. Senate File 2185 revises the definition of a criminal trespass that results in the violation of a person's expectation of privacy. A person who breaks the law could be charged with an aggravated misdemeanor. I always hate it when those misdemeanors get aggravated. I just wish they'd stay calm.
Calm down, misdemeanor. Calm down.
Ruth LaPointe, an Iowa House clerk who was a victim of invasion of privacy by her Iowa City landlord, said the current law enables perpetrators, I love that word, perpetrators, to spy on their victims when the victim is not nude and when the perpetrator is not, well, I'm not going to read that. Why would you ever put that in there? The legislation approved Wednesday removes these requirements and clarifies language regarding digital video recording of peeping victims, she said. Well, now. Well, here's the part I wasn't going to read. If you've got children if you've got children in the car and you don't want to have to explain what I'm about to say, switch over to 107.1 and listen to some uplifting music for a minute. So it used to say that the only way you could be charged with that misdemeanor, an aggravated misdemeanor, was if the victim was not nude. Victim is not nude. And when the perpetrator is not aroused. Ruth LaPointe, an Iowa House clerk who was a victim of invasion of privacy by her Iowa City landlord, says the current law enables perpetrators to spy on their victims when the victim is not nude and when the perpetrator is not aroused. The legislation approved Wednesday removes those requirements and clarifies language regarding digital video recording of peeping toms.
So if I understand this right...
I don't know if I understand it, to be honest with you.
If I understand it correctly, it used to not be a misdemeanor to just stare at somebody creepily from a distance.
Correct.
But now that is not okay.
Right.
And now recording that is not okay.
Correct.
Even if it's just like I'm just standing there, I'm waiting for the bus, I'm on the corner, and somebody stares from across the street and has a video camera staring at me, they're violating my privacy.
Well, or according to this bill, which passed 50-0, just amazes me. If I'm just looking at you from across the street and you don't like the way I'm looking at you, you could call the police and I could be charged with an aggravated misdemeanor.
Yeah, that.
Right?
We might, yeah. You would imagine it's got to be more specific than that, because that seems a little.
Well, could
be abused.
Doesn't the city have cameras all over the place, and they're videotaping?
Yeah. What about these green light cameers here?
They're videotaping people.
That's an
all
invasion
the time.
of my privacy.
Well, I'm just wondering.
The state is a peeping Tom.
The government can do whatever they want. If you want to know the proof of that? Would you like to know the proof that the government can do whatever they want?
Sure.
We can't smoke outside in a West Des Moines park, but we can go to Prairie Meadows and smoke all we want. Why? Because it's the employees. People jogging down the trail in West Des Moines could get that secondhand whiff of smoke and cause terrible injury. But the employees of Prairie Meadows, smoke them if you got them, boys. And I don't smoke. I've never smoked. But I just think you want to look at the epitome of hypocrisy in the state of Iowa. You cannot smoke outside your office building in downtown Des Moines because secondhand smoke is bad for people. We passed this bill in July of, 2008, something like this. But you can go to Prairie Meadows, which is owned by us, supposedly, although there's an interesting story in the Des Moines Register today that a gentleman wrote an open letter that says he thinks Prairie Meadows is no longer a not-for-profit and therefore is in big-time trouble because of the way the new board is designed. But anyway, I digress. I'm down the rabbit trail. Call me Little Rabbit Foo-Foo. But as I understand this bill, House File 2185, if you're standing across the street... All right, so here's an example. I'm looking at Jeb, through the window over there. Hi, Jeb. He's my producer. Let's say that Jeb doesn't like the way I'm looking at him, and he thinks I look angry or he feels threatened. He could call the police and have me charged with an aggravated misdemeanor, which would be invasion of privacy. Because I was invading his visual eye space privacy thing. I think that's what this bill means.
Well,
what? You looking something up?
You would hope that it's a little bit more specific than that.
Ruthless? Okay. Anyway, I'm just telling you.
I don't necessarily disagree with you.
What is it? House File what?
House File 2185.
I'm looking at it right here.
All right.
But anyway.
Read it out loud.
Holy mackerel. I'm not going to read it.
That's like 5 pages.
We got to pass it before we read it, Mac.
Oh, no. Yeah, that's right. Thank you, Nancy. I appreciate you. A Warren County Sheriff's official is warning the public about an attempted abduction. 11-year-old girl said a man in his 30s pulled up behind her in a red four-door car while she was walking home on Highway G24. The child said the man exited the car, grabbed her by the wrist and the hip, telling her to get in the car. Guess what this 11-year-old kid did? What do you do if you're an 11-year-old kid and somebody grabs you and you don't want to be grabbed? She kicked him in the shin. The child reported that the man drove south, tried to chase her, but she ran away. Authorities believe it is possible that another driver may have seen something. So if you have any information, please contact the Warren County Police Department, Sheriff Department. The suspect is described as a white man between 30 and 35, average in height and build. He has medium-length hair with long brown or blonde beard extending below his throat. Bob, this sounds a lot like you. He also is described as having a tattoo of a skull on his right arm and tattoos across both of his knuckles. No, that's not you. That's not you. See, this is why you don't put tattoos on your knuckles, because everybody sees them and they know, and then you're identified. The victim told police she has previously seen the same man driving a small white SUV. Oh, Sergeant Schultz, you'll see nothing? So if you have any information about a guy, 30, 35, medium length, long, brown beard below his throat with knuckles, tattoos on his knuckles, and he drives either a red or a white car, call the Warren County Sheriff's Office at 515-961-1122.
Okay.
Got that?
Yeah. That bill you were talking about.
It's Senate file. It's not House file.
Senate file.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the House file is different. Sorry.
All right. So I'll tell you a little bit about the Prairie Meadows story.
Okay.
When we come back, because I do think this is interesting. That for some reason we have a citizen who believes, and apparently this citizen's pretty smart because he wrote an open letter and it was pretty detailed. But it's the fact that Prairie Meadows is now operating outside of its nonprofit, and a lady by the name of Stacy Cargill wrote this, and I'll share it with you when we come back. But she really lays this out nicely, and I guess Stacy could be a he, couldn't it? Stacey. Okay. Anyway, Ms. or Mr. Cargill, we'll talk about this. And why does this matter to us? Because it's fraud on the part of the government. It's fraud. Lying to us. Oh, I didn't do that. You're a low information voter. Coming back.
Northern Lights Pizza's amazing garlic butter makes amazing breadsticks. Now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza. I'm Brian Leach, owner of Service Legends, and my position is Chief Talent Officer.
I'm Nicholas Wonderscheid.
I am Bernie Homs.
And I'm the Service Manager.
Marketing Director and Client Relations Manager.
Everything that we do is about ensuring that we exceed your expectations.
Our clients are important to us. 100% satisfaction.
We're not just focused on heating and cooling. That's the easiest part of our job, actually, is fixing furnaces and air conditioners.
Everyone that we come in touch with, we want to improve lives.
Bottom line is, we've got our installation guarantees, 25% energy savings guarantee, comfort guarantee, temperature selection guarantee, property protection guarantee.
100% satisfaction guaranteed. Fixed raters free.
All of those guarantees are backed up with a 100% money-back guarantee to hold ourselves accountable to making sure that you get what you're after.
Just fixing the problem today. If they have another problem 5 days down the road, it's still fixed right or it's free.
We use what's called straightforward pricing. Our technicians are going to give you an exact to-the-penny price on what it's going to take before they move forward with any repair. That way you know what to expect.
It's the same price every day.
No surprises.
If you get off work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you come home, you realize that, oh, my furnace is broken. Now you need to call somebody out that night. You shouldn't have to pay more for that.
We're guaranteeing service 24/7.
We run afternoons, evenings, nights, weekends. We're staffed to work that.
Phone rings at 3 in the morning. You'll get one of our representatives answering the phone every time.
We're not sending you out to Timbuktu in some call center. It's our Service Legend team members, our mission control team.
I'll take a call anytime.
And then they answer the phones the same way during the day as they do at night.
It's a great day at your service company. How can we make you smile?
That's the only way to provide true 24-hour service.
When you're able to let somebody actually live in their home safely when they weren't able to do that before, where they don't have to stay up at night and worry about, is the heat going to come back on? Are we going to freeze the pipes? Is the baby in the room next door going to be sick because they got too cold? When you're able to help somebody overcome challenges like that, that's impacting a life. That makes a difference. I get goosebumps thinking about it.
I love the team. I love the people that I work with.
We have fun, but we work hard.
I call them my ambassadors of legendary service. If you could just envision what that is, that's who we're sending to your home.
They literally will call in, pick up the phone and call and say, hey, I want to talk to your manager. And I get on the phone, they're like, that technician that was at my house was the greatest technician ever. That's cool to me.
We want to brighten people's days.
Every person that we have going into the house has gone through an extensive background check.
Drug testing, we have a very thorough interview process that 1 out of 140 people make it through.
If we promise you something, that's what you're going to get, no matter what.
We're here when you need us to protect the safety and comfort of your family.
If you're not happy, we're going to make it right.
If we're willing to put 100% money back guarantee on what we do, what type of work do you think we do?
Give us a call. We're there for you 24/7, 365 days a year.
Enough said.
Okay, at least the one. 3:38, 22 minutes before the top of the hour. Salem Radio Network News at the top of the hour. And then we continue with Max World Live here on this Wednesday, the 6th of April. Before I bring my special guest in, Rick Box, and we're going to talk about the 10 biblical. So I have to say it right because I see it, because I say biblical. But it's biblical principles for business, and we're going to go through one of these. And by the way, the phone lines are going to be open, so if you have any questions that you want to ask Rick about being legal inside of your business and running a business with integrity and based on biblical principles, you're going to break me of a bad habit here. Biblical principles. You can do that, 515-244-0077. It's your voice. We want to hear in Max Road. Okay, first of all, I was wrong. It's important to note that I was wrong. I had that Senate bill wrong. Chris, clarify that for us.
Right. We were.
Hold on. Microphone, thank you.
This is a Senate file 2185. We were talking about this, that this was passed. This is a privacy issue. It increased what is classified as a misdemeanor when it comes to
aggravated misdemeanor.
Aggravated misdemeanor when it comes to privacy issues, peeping Tom type
in the state.
Stuff in the state of Iowa. The Senate file actually reads that it is now a aggravated misdemeanor if you intentionally view, photograph, or film another person through the window or any other aperture of a dwelling without legitimate purpose. So
it's not just looking at somebody through a window. You have to be recording them.
Right, but the key here is the language was changed, and we talked about this is a bit graphic, but the language did change because it used to be only if, and again, if you've got kids, this is a great time to
move over to 107.1 and be uplifted with uplifting music.
I'm sure they're playing something by Mercy Me right now. So
if I
flip
could
on over there.
Imagine.
That's safer. Go on over there. Okay, so if you were looking at somebody through the window and they were naked and you were aroused, that was still inappropriate. But now, even if you're not aroused when you're doing that and you're filming them, photographing them, and they are fully clothed, that is still an aggravated misdemeanor because this Senate file passed overwhelmingly on the Senate floor. Was that today or yesterday?
That was yesterday.
Yesterday.
So just remember what Mac teaches you. Your privacy is being stolen from you one grain of sand at a time. There's no reason in the United States of America why you can't film somebody doing whatever they're doing. But see, with social networking, we now can take that and make it public. So this is really a consequence in the slippery slope of social networking.
Well, wait a minute, Mac. This is not okay. So here's a good example.
I have every right to film you if I want to film you.
Hang on, there's a difference. This House file, or sorry, I keep saying House file. This Senate file is different, though. As an example, Scott Brunsheen was at Testify today, and when he was talking, I took a photograph of him. I didn't end up posting it because the photograph I took wasn't very good, and you didn't look great, Scott.
Hey,
you looked
Scott,
much better in person, and it wasn't the best picture. So I thought, well, I better not post that without at least his approval. But I had, as you pointed out, Mac, every right to take Scott's picture at Pizza Ranch at Testify today. That's fine, and we're friends. If I post it on Facebook, that's fine. What this Senate file, though, is talking about, Max, is something that I think even you would be upset about. This is if somebody comes, is in the vicinity of your house and is looking in through your window at you, watching NASCAR or whatever you're doing, and sitting with your puppies on your couch, and he's taking your picture or filming you. That would be upsetting to you, especially if you're a female. But I think even as a guy, that would be a violation of privacy. I agree. That would be creepy. Just think about that.
It may be creepy, but I have every right to take a picture of you if I want.
No, you don't.
Well, that's where you and I disagree.
No, you can take a picture of me if I'm at Pizza Ranch.
I am a conservative Christian Jesus freak, and you're a low information voter, and we're going to agree to disagree.
Nice. Anyway, thanks for being wrong, Mac. You can play again next time.
The other thing I wanted to tell you about is head to DesMoinesRegister.com or whatever their site is, and there's an open letter by Stacy Cargill. And I'm not going to walk through it right now because we have a special guest. Maybe we'll talk about it tomorrow. But Stacy lays out something I've been talking about for a long time, and Tom Coates has been talking about this. Prairie Meadows is no longer operating as a not-for-profit. It's lying to you. Quick, run to the mirror. Do you see stupid written on your forehead? No, I don't either. But Prairie Meadows wants you to think you are because they're a not-for-profit. And all the money goes back into the community. Oh, it's for the children. Let's push another button on a gambling machine for the children and have a cigarette and a drink. Stacy does a really good job of laying out how in 2005, Prairie Meadows changed. That was 11 years. I've been telling you about this since 2005. Prairie Meadows Incorporated, combining the not-profit racetrack with the casino. They combined the Racy board with the Prairie Meadows board and became one entity, Prairie Meadows Racetrack and Casino. It's all noted in their filings with the Iowa Secretary of State. So the IRS is taking issues. Oh, for once, I like an agent from the IRS. The IRS is taking issues with their tax-exempt status, finally looking at it. I mean, there's just people out there just putting money in their pocket. You know, there's just board members and everything putting money in their pocket. It was our tax dollars that built it. It's our tax dollars that support it. And just crooked Democrats. Well, there's not a Republican on the Prairie Meadows board.
You know that?
I know that.
Do you know all of them?
Do I personally know all of them?
Yeah.
No, but I know who they are.
How do you know their party affiliation?
Seriously?
Well, just a question.
If you're on a board, you have to tell people about you and what you do.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
Just asking a question. I didn't know.
Think I'm just slandering somebody?
Well, I'd hate to accuse you of that.
But you do all the time. All right, let's go to our special guest. Let's talk about some Jesus stuff. I told you I wasn't going to talk politics today, and I'm kind of crossed the line there. I'm not going to do that anymore. My special guest is Rick Boxx, B-O-X-X. Rick, for 11 years? 15 years, has owned and operated the Integrity Resource Center, building integrity and faith at work. And you can find his website at integrityresource.org. And I heard his testimony today, and that was wonderful. By the way, you do a great job.
Thank you.
And we're going to have a big party on May 12th at the Holiday Inn South over there at Tamara's Joint. And Kelly Shackelford from a big important law firm in the United States that wins 99% of their cases because they defend you and I and our religious freedoms. Rick, what's it called? I can't remember.
They just recently changed the name. It's First Liberty Council.
Yeah, First Liberty Institute.
There we go.
And we had him on the air this past summer, or this past winter.
Right. When he was in town for the Freedom Conference, you had him live on the broadcast. Yep.
Okay. And so we're wanting you to think about getting a ticket, getting a table. I'd love nothing more than you getting a table, 10 seats for $400, and invite your friends, and let's support this. And let's find out. I love the headline on that. It's not illegal to have Jesus in the workplace. But the heathens, the low information voters, the atheists want you to think it is. It's not. It's not. So come and hear your rights. All right, so Rick is here, and we're going to go over the 10 biblical principles for business. Now, is 1 through 10, is that in order of anything? I mean, should I start with 10 like David Letterman and then go to 1?
No, the order doesn't really matter, other than I would say number 1 is probably foundational.
The most important?
Yes.
All right, let's hit number 1 before we go to break. Remember, God owns it all and has a plan for your business. Wow.
Yes.
It really does change everything when you realize nothing you have is yours.
Yeah, when you realize you're a steward and not an owner, it's a different mindset altogether.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that it's real easy in the head to say it. It's real hard to get it to the heart, to where you pry your fingers off of everything and say, oh, you mean this business is God's as well?
Yeah.
And I should turn loose of that?
Yeah.
And it's really hard. And a lot of times people have compartmentalized their life so much that they don't even consider that business may have ownership in God's hands as well.
May have? Does. It's divine.
Yeah.
All right, my guest is Rick Box, B-O-X-S. You can Google him. He's also on Facebook. Integrity Resource Center. When we come back, the other 9 biblical principles for business. I'm J. Michael McCoy. If I haven't told you lately, thanks for listening. Man, every day I get to do this. I love my job, and I couldn't do it without you. At 515-244-0077, live here on The Truth.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast 1 Live.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Rockton Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for their opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens. Rock on. This is Pat McManus for Rockton Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
Northern Lights Pizza, your home of the tasty crust. Our garlic butter sauce now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza. Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common, everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast 1 Live.
.350, 10 before the top of the hour, Salem Radio Network News, and then Rick Box will continue to be with us. That's B-O-X-X. Rick has a company called Integrity Resource Center, 15 years down in Kansas City, and he has 10 biblical principles for business. Now, we do have a big event going on May 12th at Tamara Scott's, well, I should say Lowell's. I mean, it's actually Lowell's, but she married into the family, so legally, in a secular world,
well, in the sign,
she can take him for everything she wants.
The sign says Airport Holiday Inn.
Yeah.
It doesn't say Tamara's Place on it or anything.
It does. I had a little dump truck one day that had a lift, and I took a flare and I put just so you had to be right, but it says Tamara's.
Yeah. I believe that.
But you really can't see it. The Hubble telescope could see it.
See it.
Naked eye, nope.
No, you couldn't see it.
So anyway, Thursday, May 12th, is it a noon hour thing, Scott?
It's a lunch.
So, 11:30 to 1.
Okay, and are you going to be there?
Yes.
Okay, and also Kelly Shackelford.
Yes.
And basically, I love the headline. The headline is what?
Faith at work. Is it legal?
Yeah.
Can you have faith in the workplace? Can you share your faith in the workplace? Can you, which we're told you can't do all the time, it seems like, that you can't put up scripture, or you can't have, folks they put a Bible on their desk in their cubicle and they get in trouble for these kinds of things. So I think it'd be interesting to...
I did.
You did?
When I was at work.
Did you get in trouble for it?
Yeah, no. But Bob was a mucky muck.
No.
He was a big shot at work. So he was kind of you weren't the big boss, but you were the boss of your area. I mean, Who was going to tell on you? Gene? Gene wasn't going to tell on you.
Oh, people would tell.
Really?
Sure.
They turned you in?
No.
Oh.
But the people in work, they're not afraid to turn you in if they wanted to.
But they never did.
Never did.
35 years.
Right.
They never did.
Yeah, I had scriptures on my desk.
Oh, yeah, I remember your office. You had all the pictures you took and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't know, Bob was and I don't want to embarrass him, but... Bob is a modern-day CSI. He worked for the state of Iowa at the department and the crime lab. Huh. And Bob is also a part of DMORT, which stands for...
Disaster Mortuary Operational Response Team.
So Katrina, he was there counting fingers and toes. 9/11, he was there. Flight 238. 232 up in Sioux City years ago. He was there. Brave, wonderful man. He's got great stories to tell you. So... But I just think there's more you can do in a secular business place than you're told you can do. But you're bullied, probably not physically, but certainly emotionally and verbally. Your boss is probably on a power trip because they think they're the most important person and they're their own god, their own idol, and they don't want any other idols around for you to say, well, you may be my boss here, but you're not my boss all the time. Neener. So we're going to learn those things at this conference on May 12th. How do they go about getting tickets? Is it faithatworkiowa.org?
Yes. Yeah, if you just go to faithatworkiowa.org and then there's a button you can click on for registration.
And that's not faith @ sign.
Correct.
It's faith
spelled
AT.
out. Spelled out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and if you want to go, well, I want you to buy a table and take some friends or split up the cost. But we will be giving away 2 seats here in Mac's World on that. And I don't know how we're going to do that yet, but we got a month to figure that out.
We got a couple of minutes to figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Okay.
A couple of things on that, Mac, to share with the listeners. A lot of people are confused as to what they can and can't do, both from the employee standpoint, but also from the business owner or employer.
Yes.
So it goes both ways, and we've met with Christian attorneys here in Des Moines. And the Civil Rights Act of 1964 really protects religious liberties. And sometimes people are confused by that. I mean, what it says is you cannot hire, fire, promote, or demote based on religion or harass in the workplace. That's it. So no harassment, but you can have scripture on the walls. You can have a Bible on your desk. And you can share your faith as long as if someone says to back off, then you have to respect their beliefs and back off. No harassment.
Right.
But it's, and it's one of those things that unfortunately the media and today's politically incorrect America, they're intimidating people as to what they can and can't do.
Yeah. They're lying is what they're doing. They're lying. And as we learned on this program 1 week ago today, what did we learn, children? Let's go back in class and think. What did we learn from Stanley Hauerwas last week? That we as Christians, the most important thing we can do to return the church's integrity into the culture is to never lie. Because every sin begins with a lie. And these people, these heathens, these low information voters, these progressive people, these Jesus haters, they're lying to you when they tell you you can't say that, you can't do that, you can't have that. They're lying. And that's the beginning of the sin of denying Christ and the blasphemy that is the one thing God can't look past. Remember, Jesus on the cross, a few of his final words were, Father, why have you forsaken me? Why did he feel forsaken? because Jesus had taken on your sin, my sin, our sin. And God can't look at sin. He can't. It's not that he doesn't want to. He can't. And so when these heathens, when they tell you you can't say the name of Jesus in public, they're lying. Because it's a sin of blasphemy. All right, Rick, number 2, be accountable to others, spouse, church, government, and peers. And by the way, these all come with Bible verses, so you back these all up with Scripture.
That's right.
All right, so tell me about that one.
Well, accountability is all throughout Scripture. I mean, that's not a word that you typically see in Scripture, but the concept of accountability is all over the place. You know, you just think about in Ecclesiastes, you know, Solomon was writing about it when he talked about, also if two lie down together, they will keep warm, but how can one keep warm alone? Though one may be overpowered, two can defend themselves. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. And then if you look in Romans, the Apostle Paul talked a lot about accountability even to the government, which a lot of us sometimes don't like to read, but there's a lot of meat in there as to God ordained even the government, and therefore we're supposed to be accountable. And so as Christians, we need to be accountable in business as well. And I used to hear a lot, and still do at times, people that, I want to go start a business because I can't work for anyone else. Mm-hmm. Well, they don't realize that once you start a business, you feel like you're working for everybody else because you've got customers screaming at you. You've got the government. You've got local government agencies. You got more bosses than you ever had working, for another employer. It's just now you have to be accountable in different ways than maybe you were used to.
Yeah.
One of the ones that gets overlooked a lot, Mac, is to our spouse. There's a lot of business people that think my wife doesn't know anything about business. Why would I talk about my business stuff with her? Well, my wife is a nurse, and she really doesn't care about business. But when she would sit in our board meetings and someone would bring up something, she
had to be accountable.
She was the first one to say, he can't do that. He's not good at that. And so she was able to hold me accountable when others wouldn't.
Salem Radio Network News is next, and then next hour, Rick Box is back here live on The Truth.